with me today, Maudie of MUCAN Garden. Just want to do a quick video today and kind of go over a few things, checking your garden daily, when to water, and kind of checking for stuff like that. Before we get into today's video, please be sure you hit that like button and the subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It's free, it's easy to do. It's just hit that little box there. So pops up in red. Hit subscribe so you can always hang out and see what we've got going on here. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much for doing that and hanging out with me. But let's get into today's video. What I want to talk about is kind of, we've planted everything. Everything's in our garden. But you want to be sure that you are checking your garden daily if you are able to do so. Just because if there's anything going on, any fungus, disease, infestation of anything, if you're checking it daily, then you're on top of it. That way you don't come out and you're completely surprised, like, oh my gosh, my garden's been decimated by insects or blight or anything like that. And then of course, if you have things in containers, you want to be checking that as well, making sure that, the soil is still damp or doesn't need to be watered or anything like that. So let's go on through and just double check that. The other most important thing when you're out in your garden, you got a beautiful sunny day, you don't think of it, and I had a complete blunder of it yesterday. I forgot to put sunscreen on, so my arms are a little on the sunburned side. So be sure that if you are outside, you are taking the appropriate measures. You're wearing a hat, you've got sunscreen on. Depending on how long you're going to be out, you've got, some bottled water or anything like that to stay hydrated, because you don't want to be falling ill in your garden either, dealing with the aftermath of sunburn. It can happen so quickly. And again, I didn't think of it yesterday. I'm like, oh, I'm outside all day long, and I'm now feeling the ill effects of a little sunburn. It's not too bad, but it's a little bothersome. But let's come on into the garden, the most important part here. So a couple things. Like I said, I have the net here. Well, my little pollinators aren't going to be able to get in through here. So what I'm going to do, and this was mostly for our critters, keeping the rabbits and the raccoons out. I am going to open this because our cucumbers, and this is the only thing basically over here that needs pollinating. Our zucchinis are a little out onto the patio, so easy for the pollinators to reach them. I'm going to open this net here a little bit. That way my pollinators can fly in here, and I'm not sure if you're able to get in here, but we've got some more of our cucumbers here flowering there and right down under there. So the cucumbers are looking great. But with this being a raised bed, how do you know if it needs watering? So what you can do is just kind of, if you look at the very top level, it's dry and sandy, but if you kind of pull back, do you see the difference in the soil here? Where it's definitely much darker than the top part. So that's nicely watered. It's damp, it's feeling really wet there, so I don't need to water that. You want to also be careful you're not overwatering. It's always better to kind of underwater than overwater. So I will probably water this tomorrow. Well, I'm probably not even going to water this because we've got rain in our forecast. I'll just let nature do its thing here. But if we didn't have any rain in our forecast, I would end up watering today's Sunday, probably like Monday, Tuesday, keeping everything nice, evenly watered there. But the stuff in our containers here. So same thing here with our containers. You just want to, you can put your finger in there, you can kind of pull back. Again, nice, damp. I'm going to move out of the shadow here so you're able to see that. It's a little bit on the darker. It feels very cool and damp, so that's okay. But you want to be checking these things regularly because containers will dry out a lot faster than something like that. And look at the beautiful, beautiful marigold. Isn't that just lovely? We planted these last weekend. Started these from seed back at the end of January. And again, everything in this garden over here is from seed. All that time and effort and love into growing everything organically from seed. That is just beautiful. Yes.
I
right, so I do want to come on over and check my tomatoes. Because the other thing too with tomatoes is we want to be sure that we're not getting any suckers or anything like that, and making sure things are okay. We've got our little mascot here. This is Bun Bun. He is my son's absolute favorite little stuffed animal, and true to a cottontail rabbit that we get in our yard very, very often. As a matter of fact, we have to kind of chase him out of the yard, which is primarily what the netting here is for, because we do get the cottontail rabbits all the time in our yard here. And they have no fear. I can come right up to them and just, what are you doing in my garden? And they'll just stare me down. They're not even afraid. Too cute though. So that's gonna be he's our garden mascot. We're just coming around through and looking. So what I'm looking at too with the tomatoes, and I do need to stake them up a little bit. But here's a good example. I'm not sure if you're able to get in here. See this right here, this little guy? I would just kind of pluck that off. Just because we don't want anything under the stem, we want everything in the growth going up towards the top. So I come out and just kind of check that and pluck those off as needed. And then we had planted some beans, some bush beans. Here, the Blue Lake bush. So just making sure that the water and the moisture level is nice and damp there to help those germinate. That's pretty much it today. Like I said, I just wanted to make a short video on making sure that you're getting out to your garden, checking your soils, making sure it's still nice and damp, water as you need to, just checking everything, making sure that you're not getting any pests in there, and of course wear your sunscreen, drink your water, wear a hat, those kind of measures. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next video. Again, please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so.